President Jonathan has his own opinion to make, and he's entitled to it. My own advice is that he should not even near it. My own advice. He should not even contemplate it. The same forces that nearly destroyed his name, clueless, this and that, when they were not in power. The same forces are the ones now that are in power. They would take his name to the toilets.
My view is that President Jonathan is clearly eligible under the 1999 Constitution to run for 2027. As I said earlier, I'm not in any way validating his choice as a president. I'm only stating what the law has said. And the law itself is that he is eligible under the 1999 Constitution, despite the provision of Section 137, subsection 3, that came into existence in 2018.
President Jonathan, for me to be here. When you took that decision on March 31st, 2015, it was one of those moments that it was between yourself, your conscience, your God, against the run of play. On the 31st of March 2015, even before the elections had concluded, when you made that call, you were answering what to me was more or less a divine call. The voice of the devil is not so far from the voice of God. Listen very carefully to those who want to use you as an instrument for the elongation of their interests, and not your interests or the interests of Nigeria. Think very clearly, pray very clearly. Final decision, it's your call.
In Nigerian politics, there are no permanent enemies, only shifting interests and unfinished battles. And now, one name has quietly returned to the stage. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, the same man Nigerians once voted out in anger, the same leader whose humility became both his strength and weakness. And now, nearly a decade later, whispers grow louder. Jonathan may return to the ballots in 2027. But this time, it is not about redemption. It is not about disruption. If Goodluck Jonathan returns, who stands to lose? Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, or Bola Ahmed Tinubu himself? Because this is not just about one man's comeback. It is about how a single move could shake Nigerians' entire political equation. This is the story of how Jonathan's possible return could hurt Obi, weaken Atiku, and even threaten Tinubu's throne. When Jonathan left Aso Rock in 2015, he became the first Nigerian president to peacefully hand over power to an opposition candidate. He left quietly, earning global praise for his democratic spirit. But beneath that humility was a man betrayed by allies, by powerful bloc, and by his own party. In the years that followed, Jonathan didn't vanish. He became the elder statesman, mediating African elections, advising presidents, and rebuilding his image. But quietly, the calls started coming again. Within the PDP, some elders believe only Goodluck Jonathan can unify a fractured opposition. Some in the South see him as a symbol of regional pride. And even within the APC, there are whispers that some northern elites prefer Jonathan over Tinubu because he can only serve one term. Imagine that irony. The same Jonathan who lost to Buhari in 2015 could now be the compromise candidate for power brokers desperate to reset the system in 2027. His return, if it happens, wouldn't just be a political resurrection, it would be a revenge served with a smile. Peter Obi has become the face of new Nigerian politics, the man who ignited hope in young Nigerians and redefined grassroots mobilization. But Goodluck Jonathan's reemergence could strike at the very heart of Obi's political base. And here is why. Regional overlap. Jonathan is from the South, the same region that provided a strong percentage of Obi's 2023 votes. If Jonathan joins the race, he could reclaim sympathy votes from his home zone. The Southern loyalty is on the list. Many Southern politicians who backed Obi in 2023 might switch back to Jonathan, seeing him as the more experienced and electable figure. For voters who love Obi's honesty but doubt his national reach, Jonathan could look like the safer southern bet. And again, the issue of religious and emotional pull, Jonathan's soft-spoken image and Christian background still resonates strongly among church leaders and southern faith groups who supported Obi. This could create a split in the southern Christian vote, something Obi cannot afford in 2027. And then again, the issue of international credibility. As a former president who left peacefully, Jonathan enjoys a strong international respect. That credibility could attract foreign and corporate donors who once favored Obi's modern image. The danger for Obi is simple. If Jonathan runs, the South's emotional vote gets divided, and a divided South means a weaker Labour Party and a weaker Peter Obi, because in Nigerian politics, numbers decides and not narratives. No one understands political survival like Atiku Abubakar. He has contested for president 6 times, a record unmatched in Nigerian's democracy. But Jonathan's rumored comeback could finally end Atiku's presidential dream for good. Inside the PDP, battle lines are already forming. Some see Jonathan as the unifier, the man who can end the North-South distrust that wrecked the PDP in 2023. Others see him as a spoiler, a ghost from the past who could destroy the little unity left in the party. Atiku's main advantage has always been structure, governors, delegates, and financiers who rally behind him every election cycle. But this time he is no longer part of the PDP. He has moved to the ADC, and it seems like he'll be flying the ticket. But with the entrance of Jonathan, soft-spoken, respected, and a fresh symbol of compromise, if Jonathan declares for the PDP, Atiku of the ADC might face another bigger challenge, a new fronter in this game. Now imagine Jonathan standing on the PDP podium in 2027, smiling beside some big names in the PDP. It's a political poetry. But for Atiku, it could be a tragedy. If Jonathan wins the PDP ticket, Atiku may once again lose at the polls. And at his age, that could mark the end of a political career spanning over 3 decades. The irony, Jonathan's return may not just hurt Obi, it may bury Atiku's presidential ambitions forever. At first glance, Tinubu shouldn't be worried. After all, opposition division has always been his greatest weapon. In 2023, Obi and Atiku split the anti-APC vote, paving the way for Tinubu's victory. But if Jonathan returns under a united front, or even as a contract figure capable of attracting both PDP and Labour Party supporters, Tinubu could face his toughest election yet. And here is why. The northern calculations. Some northern elites have grown unease with Tinubu's centralization of power. For them, Jonathan's single-term eligibility makes him the perfect transition figure to reset the North-South balance before 2031. Again, the issue of southern rivalry. Jonathan's calm persona could appeal to voters tired of Tinubu's aggressive political style. A peaceful Jonathan versus strongman Tinubu, this narrative could sway undecided southern voters. Again, public perception. Tinubu's government by 2027 will be judged on its performance, economy, security, and few crises. If Nigerians are still struggling, Jonathan's return could symbolize nostalgia for a more stable time. Imagine campaigning billboards saying, "Things were better under Goodluck." That emotional appeal could be powerful, especially among Nigerians disillusioned by rising hardship. However, Jonathan's candidacy could also indirectly help Tinubu if he could divide the opposition further. If Obi, Atiku, and Jonathan all run separately, the South and the Middle Belt votes scatter, giving Tinubu another path to victory. So for the president, Jonathan's return is both a risk and an opportunity. It could either unite his enemy or completely destroy them. Before any of these happens, one question must be answered. Is Jonathan even eligible to run again? Section 137 of Nigerian's constitution forbids anyone from being sworn in as president more than twice.
That as far back as 2022, even after the fourth alteration of the constitution, there has been a judicial pronouncement that affirmed the fact that President Jonathan is clearly eligible to run. We recall that in 2010, he came in to complete the tenure of the late Musa Yar'Adua's presidency, and he was naturally sworn in. But it is not by election, it's clearly by disposition of the law. Complying with Section 146 of 1999 Constitution is by operation of law. It was in 2011 that he ran for a proper election in which he won, 2011 to 2015, and he was sworn in. I think even in 2015, when he wanted to recontest, somebody went to court. There is this in Joko that went to court here in Abuja, FCT High Court. And one Justice Oniga, Oni Sangia, yes, one Mudashiri, ruled that the president then is eligible to run.
Jonathan served as acting president in 2010, then as elected president from 2011 to 2015. That makes two. But legal experts are divided. Some say his first oath as acting president does not count. Others insist it does. If the court says he's eligible, the floodgates open. But if not, the entire Jonathan comeback collapses before it begins. Beyond legality, there is the moral question. Should Jonathan, a man who left power gracefully, return to the same seat he once vacated with dignity? Wouldn't that undo the legacy he's built as Africa's symbol of peaceful transition? And even if he runs, can he still command the energy, the network, and the trust needed to defeat a sitting president like Tinubu or younger challenger like Obi? Politics has no memory, but Nigerians do. They remember corruption scandals, economic decline, and security collapses from Jonathan's era. They also remember lights, fuel, and a sense of stability that now feel like a dream. That's the paradox of Jonathan's comeback. A choice between nostalgia and progress, between redemption and relapse. If he enters the race, Nigeria's 2027 election will not just be about policies, it will be about memory versus hope. So, can the return of Goodluck Jonathan halt to be Atiku or Tinubu? Absolutely. But it could halt Jonathan himself, because Nigerian politics is a game of timing, and timing is everything. If he returns too soon, he risks being seen as desperate. If he returns too late, he loses momentum. If he does not return at all, he remains the peaceful statesman untouched by the echoes of 2027. If Goodluck Ebele Jonathan decides to re-enter the battlefield, he wouldn't just change the game. He could rewrite the entire story of Nigeria's democracy. In 2027, Nigeria may once again stand between the ghost of its past and the promise of its future. And the man who left Aso Rock in peace may return to test if lightning can strike twice.